Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the defense. I'm Toby1, joined by the wonderfully, if I hit my right button correctly again, the wonderful Blitz. We are here for this tournament, the defense. That's what we're doing. We're about to load into the game. A whole new series, a whole new place where there are no pauses.
You think that? Okay. I was like,
yeah,
somebody there?
Yeah. We're hearing Tim through the window, which we have open, but he's out in the balcony. Either way, let's not get completely distracted. We're almost loading into the game. We're actually waiting for our last little broadcast to load in now. And two new teams coming their way. It's nice to see Crit playing in a team again.
That guy, really good Dota player. Really young, too.
Yeah.
I think they lost yesterday, right? 2-0? Or 1-1?
To be honest, I don't know.
I don't actually know what their score right now is in the defense. But Golden Boys, pretty good team. Like, Madara, we saw him go pretty ham at, what was that event that we were going? MLG?
Yes.
Right, MLG Texas, where they beat EG in that Vesta 1. And he played really well in that Phantom Lancer. But Monkey Business has a pretty, I want to say star-studded. Like, they've got a lot of players that have played at internationals. You know, you got Fly from Fnatic and very recently Complexity. They did very well. They overperformed, in my opinion. You've got Miracle, who a lot of people are hyping because he's 8K.
Yep.
You've got Moon Meander, of course. Big Daddy No Tail is the big name here. I think he's actually playing core now or something like that.
Really? He's playing number 1 position?
I can't remember. I don't know if it's the 1 position.
Well, we're going to find out tonight anyway, but like, I'd assume Moon Meander's going to be into that. Wait, wouldn't he be number 1?
No, he played 3 most recently.
Okay.
For Complexity.
Okay.
I guess it just depends. I'm trying to think right now. Fly is definitely supporting.
Yeah.
With Crit.
That's his thing.
Yeah. I think that's the way it goes. And then I think Miracle plays 1 or 2. Big Daddy No Tail plays 1 or 2.
Okay. We obviously did our homework before we came in to cast this game.
There's just so many new teams to keep up with, and people
There
keep
really
changing
is.
roles.
It was one of those things I remember when like with the older roster shuffles. It's like, you know what, I'm going to look at this when everyone's done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to try and keep up with it as it goes on day by day, because day by day it's like, well, the rumor is this and the rumor is that. So you're like, well, I'll just formulate some thoughts about this team because they got all these people in it. It's like, well, actually, no, I have to change all my thoughts because now this person's in it instead. And one person changing the roster just changes everything. Normally.
Yeah, I think a big part too is just people are just messing around, making sure that they know what roles are good. With the majors coming up so quickly, and
yeah, the qualifiers are not far away.
Yeah, and you've got all of these big events coming up. You know, we've got our defense land, we've got ESL, MLG. There's just so many different things that we have to do at once that teams kind of have to find out 10 times faster than they used to.
But on the bright side, there's a crap ton of tournaments that they're involved in which they can do that with. Like here at the defense, we know we've had a lot of people watching our games here because they're looking to see what these teams are capable of. And these teams are looking to see if they can actually find a competitive environment to test it out as well.
So I'd be so scared if I was every other team that wasn't EG or maybe VP.
Really? Okay.
I just think that there's not enough time to, like, by the first major to, like, really shore things up. Or even by ESL or MLG. These teams have to, like, get going quickly. Like, there hasn't been a real standout team for me yet. Like, a team that you're pointing to that's like, that's a real contender. Like, they can actually win an entire tournament.
Like, yeah, you might have thought it was Cloud9, and then DC does what they did last night, and you realize just like...
Yeah, the field is so muddled right now.
Yeah. And really, like, Cloud9 looked fantastic. They won, like, 9 games in a row.
11, I think. Their first 11 or something.
I think...
It was a really nice streak.
It was a good streak. It was a good streak. We could agree on that. Yeah, and when they just get shut down, you're like, wait, what the... damn it. Like, Rares were lost, and, like, Faith was lost.
But Monkey Business, they've got that combo. That Flame Guard Ion Shell combo.
It's classic. The Darkseer pickup, I've seen this guy so many times. In almost every single game I've been casting, the Darkseer has appeared. He just seems to be so perfect on lane. He wins the one-on-one duel with support that tries to zone him out the off lane. And if you then commit more to him, he just goes into your own jungle and farms it up. Like, and he only has to do like maybe like a triple stack or quad stack, which the support can work in for him. And then he can move to the top lane with a level 3 Iron Shell and then hold the lane back or just keep farming. Make life a living hell for these like low range attack number 1 positions that just try and free farm the safe lane.
That's a really early Ember Spirit pickup too. Like you very rarely see it in the first 2, just because the hero's a little predictable, and it's easy to work a strategy around it. Like Golden Boys immediately take the Lina and the Gyrocopter. Like the Gyrocopter is so good against pretty much every offlaner. Rocket Barrage is what a spell, honestly. You don't really lose with that ability. I guess what it'll really come down to is if Monkey Business can just outplay them. But Golden Boys has been looking alright too.
They had a little bit of a rougher run earlier tonight.
Oh, really? Versus who?
That was their
MLG?
MLG game. Yeah, they had their MLG game where they got 0-2'd against Vega.
But Vega might be a top 5 team for me right now.
Yeah.
With how they look. They're just beating everybody.
Well, you put VP into the list. Vega was always up there. Like they had problems, to put it nicely, but still, compared to all these teams that are newly forming, Vega still got a lot of stability behind them.
Oh, for sure. Their playstyle is more or less fleshed out is probably the important thing. It's like what PPD said, right? Like, Digital Chaos didn't have a plan. Well, Vega always has a plan. Like, they stick to their guns. VP just might beat them, edge them in the talent department is where I find the biggest difference.
Yeah, I kind of feel like VP, also with their planning, is a little bit more precise for their timings. Where Vega's a little bit more, you know what, we just push. This doesn't work. Phase 2 now starts. Like, there's no exact timing plan. No.
Alright, so Monkey Business ban out the Tusk. They got one more to go. The weird thing is about the offlane pool now, it's like you're either Clockwork, Darkseer, Earthshaker, or Tusk. And we've seen Tusk banned out, Darkseer taken. So now if Monkey Business want to ban one of the two, or they leave just both open because they realize it's impossible to ban out the offlane position.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a lot of players at the Red Bull event that we were just recently at, and they said those are like the 4 main ones. And then there's like a pretty precipitous drop off after that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we just have like random heroes like we saw in the last game, which was like Broodmother offlane. You're like, okay. This became a thing.
I would kind of like to see... I kind of would have liked to see the Clockwork ban if I was Golden Boys. Because I think Clockwork does quite well against both Gyrocopter and Lina. I guess it just depends on the direction that you want to take with the draft, but those are the 2 heroes that I would personally like to see.
It'll be nice to get that initial control, then the follow-up blaster. Yeah. And Monkeys will take it out, and they go for the Earthshakers. They actually block one of them by being picked, by picking it themselves, and they just block it the old-fashioned way.
Nice. So they got rid of all 4. We just talked about the 4 offlaners.
Yep.
And they just did the job.
Every single one.
That's so smart, though. Like, I was like, oh, they should ban the Clockwork because there's also the Earthshaker, but then they just...
Oh. So then you you have the second pick. Well, you have the first pick in the second phase. It's why not? That's a wonderful block. The question will now be like, are you running a roaming Earthshaker, an Ember Spirit, potentially safe or potentially mid, depending on what matchup favors him better, and then the Darkseer offlane.
Reserve time.
That's nice.
That's generally the way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
At this rate, I could foresee the Ember Spirit being a mid for the control factor.
Is the Ember still gonna be fine up against the Lina?
Nothing is really...
That's what the players make of it.
I mean, Fire Hands is pretty hard to beat mid. It's like 670 range, spammable nukes, a free Hyperstone, and free Haste Rune. The hero's amazing.
Did you really just call her Fire Hands?
Yeah, OS Frog Fire Hands. Didn't you hear Zai one time?
No.
He said, you can just create your own memes, Toby. He said, I just make my own memes up. It's like, Darkseer is Purple Cone Man. Ember Spirit is he the balanced spirit, or is that Storm? I can't remember.
Storm is not balanced.
But it's sarcasm.
Ah.
In ranking of OP spirits, though, it definitely goes Earth, Storm, Ember.
Yeah, but there's a reason why Earth Spirit's not in Captain's mode. Because of that exact reason.
I always read threads where people are like, Earth Spirit's not that is not that imbalanced. And I go through their comment history. It's like 2.5k bracket. I'm like, that's... Earth Spirit is... What?
I actually cannot believe how hard Magnetize is to fight around. Like, it's impossible.
No, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
Imagine if you gave Earth Spirit that ultimate. That would make it such a fun hero to play. If instead of, the fire remnants, instead of TPing to it, it's just like the stones. He just shoots fire there.
No, I still think it should be possible where you break the stones.
With like 4 attacks or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like you'd even do it with Ember Spirit to balance him out a little bit too. So you just like take out
The fire remnant?
you can take out the fire remnant. So you can't just have a fire remnant sitting in Roshan. You're like, well, I want to go for Roshan. I've got like everything I need to kill off Roshan, apart from that one bloody spirit which I cannot remove in the game, just sitting there.
Yeah, but all 3 spirits have that. Like Storm's got the remnant that you can't get rid of unless you walk over it.
Yep.
I guess you can walk over it,
Yeah.
but it's like a.
And then it removes. But the remnant works a little bit differently. Like Storm, I feel, is still balanced in that way.
We got so off topic.
We really
this
did.
draft.
We really did. It looks like we're running a safe lane Ember Spirit.
Okay.
Well, who says we're off topic, Storm? Storm. I just call you Storm instead of Blitz now.
Haha. You got me, Toby.
God. So yes, we're on topic because we still get the Storm Spirit pickup. And Storms have been trashing in so many games. Like that Bloodstone build, like the momentum you gain is just ridiculous.
5 seconds remaining.
There was actually a Storm Spirit Coddle that was played recently. So he'd jump in, have his little bit of a battle, and then TP back to base, and then gets recalled back in again, jumps in, gets Chakra so he can then fight again, and then by that point he's ready to TP back to base, and they just kept doing it over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, Storm is fantastic against all the heroes that Monkey Business have. The Dazzle pairs up really well with it. Like the Weave plus Storm being able to zip in from distance. The Gyrocopter.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
think that's... I have to assume then that's a support Lina, and they kind of just faked out
5
Monkey Business a
seconds
little.
remaining.
Yep.
With picking the Storm too, you can't put the Ember mid anymore. The matchup is just...
Radiant team banned.
It's nigh impossible for the Ember to win that one.
Interesting they banned out the SK. It's actually here at the PPD and I were talking about yesterday, as far as like off laners, where like you start to run out of options. And
Yeah,
you're like,
that's the
it's like-
fifth one.
It's like, what do I really do? It's like, well, I want a hero that can give me a stun, can give me initiation, and potentially farm out my own jungle if things get rough.
It's going to be...
SK fits it perfectly.
You notice that Monkey Business have been really strategic and smart with their bans.
Yep.
They ban 4 offlaners. They take one of their own, and then they take the other one as a support. I think Golden Boys has to go in the direction of... I think Beastmaster is still a pretty decent option, actually, this game. Like,
Yeah.
Beastmaster is actually really solid here. The vision that it would give you
10
so that they
seconds
couldn't just go
remaining.
for the Dire Roshan. Like, this would be a la... What is that team?
5 seconds remaining.
MVP.
Mm-hmm.
MVP used to pick the Beastmaster a lot for March for this reason.
Reserve
So
time.
Golden Boy is going for the Beastmaster. I actually think would be... Oh, and that silencer makes life hard for everybody.
Yeah, the king of the beat. Things, word.
What?
Huh, I censored myself before I actually finished it. Silencer is not on my happy list.
Yes,
And
I got it right.
The Blitz prediction. We haven't done the proper Blitz prediction in a very long time.
Remember that time I guessed that Omni?
Yeah,
Man,
that was pretty epic, man.
that was... I just don't get given enough opportunities.
Remember, like, we used to do the Blitz prediction. Like, the Blitz prediction was you'd see the entire draft, and then you'd call like a 5-minute window when the game would be won and by who.
Yep.
That was the Blitz prediction game.
I was real good at that too.
I almost want to make a game just called the Blitz prediction, and just see how close to Blitz you can get.
I'm not handsome enough to be the main Merlini, and I'm not smart enough to be the small Merlini. So I've just got to be me.
So, who wins this game and what time? Do we start the Blitz prediction again?
I don't know. Just judging by lineup,
10 seconds remaining.
I think that if Golden Boys are gonna win, it's gonna be
5 seconds remaining.
fairly early. Like if they win the laning phase, I could see them winning this in like 30 minutes. But if Monkey Business can really outlane them and get a good start without getting ganked up, then I think they can win in like 45 minutes. They're probably gonna have to go for at least 2 Roshans, so 45, 50 minutes.
So you're talking about GB winning 40 to 45 minutes in?
No, I think GB will end faster if they're gonna win because they'll just snowball.
True.
It is gonna be a no-tail Ember Spirit. I knew the only reason they pick it first too. He's been practicing it like nonstop. I saw
Really?
Chessie play with him a few times with it. Yeah, he's been playing it a lot recently.
It's also kind of funny that we get like the same cause 2 games in a row now. Like Ember and SF being the two guys that end up coming in as like the two cores. Like, is this now going to be a thing? But the laning phase is still great for them. The only concern I kind of have for Monkeys is if the laning phase doesn't work perfectly for Moomiander, is the fact that that jungle's going to get very, very crowded. Very, very early. I also love, too, the fact that NoTel was the man pinging that. he's just telling Moomiander, it's like, I want it right here, like right here in that position. So he takes all responsibility for that ward getting dewarded.
All right, so this Ember didn't go stout. I think that's in response to just being able to get the Ring of Aquila really quickly. Crit and Fly, they're going to have a pretty rough job this game, trying to zone and get their own levels. Because that's the issue, is that these are both really level-dependent supports. Like, that's the downside, is if your laning phase doesn't go well, suddenly you've got like a level 4 Earthshaker and like a level 3 Silencer.
Yep.
Silencer might be one of the more ulti-reliant supports in the game. Because this toolkit just isn't very good for other purposes.
Yeah. But at the same time, if they can find a couple of early pickups and the Silencer starts stealing intelligence, your momentum can be absolutely unstoppable.
I think you have to go Yules as a Storm in this game.
The battle begins.
Global Silence is just... I really, really don't advocate going for Yules as an item. I think it stops your snowball quite a bit. And it makes you ineffective at places where you want to be.
You're saying Yules before you get into Bloodstone?
Maybe Bloodstone into Yules. The first suicide you can waste for a global. It's probably not that bad.
Okay.
But I think eventually, in this game, a BKB would be really smart too as a second item. If you want to skip the Yules altogether.
It's like maybe he's going to keep that range creep back on the bottom lane. But this is going to be actually a little bit difficult for Moomiander. That Dark Creep waves up a little bit too fast. He was not feeling safe. And in fact, they actually hit the Light Strike Array and a full Rocket Barrage to remove 2/3 of his life. Well, there's Earthshaker. Crit's waiting. Now, vision-wise, they kind of know he's there. He's in the slither of smoke, which GB has. They don't see him exactly, so he could have walked back by now. But Kisa, if he still gets hit by this fissure, SF does have razors now, so they have enough damage to find the kill from where he's at.
Is it not Kaiser?
Is it Kaiser?
It's Kaiser?
I don't know, like... If it was Kaiser, it'd be like K-A-I.
Yeah, but Kaiser just sounds
I know, weird.
real off.
Well, we can call him Kaiser. Like, I'm happy. Kaiser sounds so much more epic.
Kaiser says...
It's like...
We'll ask him.
SVG, by the way, is actually Savage.
Yeah.
I asked him last night. He's like, it could be both, but I really like Savage. Sounds boss. Fly's having a great time on this top lane. Skylark can't get anything. Like, he's forced all the way back. He's got 6 tangos, and he'll actually trigger the south now. But this is that one-on-one duel, which I always like to see. The safe lane support of Dire side versus the range, the off laner of the Radiant, who normally comes out on top. In this case, it's Silencer by a landslide.
He's got level 2 really early, but he's got to be careful. Double Boar is very strong. Be careful, Fly Friend.
Then again, NoTel's coming over. They curse him up again. Just try and force out the Beastmaster and the Fissure Block. Oh, this is troublesome.
Crit
This will be
you,
First
Beast.
Blood. He comes in at the perfect time, and the First Blood goes the way of the Ember Spirit.
Really well played by Crit, just being able to trap him off there. He didn't know that Crit was exactly going to be in that position. Because Crit was just moving around, and...
Well, he maybe should have. Like, did Crit come through the Dire jungle? Because if he didn't, then they would have come under the Observer ward.
Yeah, he was really smart about it. He played that perfectly. Or pretty much as close to perfect as you can get. This mid matchup, though, is going to be rough for Storm eventually. The SF, though, opts to skip the bottle, actually, and go for the wand first, which I question. Like, you can't trade regen very effectively, I think, in this matchup.
And how many wand charges are you really going to get from Static Remnant spam?
A lot.
But more than what bottle will give you. They're now going to go for the fissure, and well, he could commit the razors, but there's not much reason to do so when the bottle's already coming out in the courier.
The Storm actually has absurd farm, Toby. If you want to know rate-wise, like look at his.
Yeah, I see 21-4 against a 10-3.
10, yeah. Miracle's actually just missing a lot of CS right now.
I should actually just find you games where the Storm Spirit has completely trashed his lane.
I love to be relevant in 2015, so I'm down to just keep casting Storm games.
I saw we actually had a Storm Spirit game last night in the ESL Americas.
Yeah?
And it was something along the lines of 45 CS to 7 CS in the space of 6 minutes or 7 minutes.
Oh, I would love to cast that
It
game.
was crazy. And he was taking stacks as well.
Yeah, my boy, dude.
It's
Storm, my boy.
maybe Earth Spirit does have to be taken off that #1 peg as OP.
Nah, because then he'll get nerfed.
He should get. Oh, you mean Storm get nerfed?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Storm
should.
doesn't need a
He
nerf.
should get nerfed.
It's just the meta, man.
Searing-
It's all in the business.
Searing Chains up on top. No-Tal just keeps trying to burn him down with a Flame Guard.
That's a level 1 Beastmaster.
Yep. He's about to hit level 2, however. As he'll be able to leech out the experience in the Wild Wing. Actually, no, he's going to back up. Doesn't even want level 2. Man, Fly's level 3.5 as a support hero. And he's not even stealing that much from No-Tal. Like, No-Tal still managed to crack almost level 6 already.
They're playing this lane. They've got that Fnatic synergy.
Are we really going to call it Fnatic synergy? Well, they are the old pair from Fnatic.
Yeah, Hani should just become their coach.
It's working nicely.
Oh, what? All of a sudden, SF is completely caught up in CS. He was 11 down before.
Top lane Fissure. There goes the kill on the Dazzle, and more intelligence coming the way of Fly. He's stolen 4 intelligence already. That's one other thing which I did request of Volvo, please, is to be able to see who has actually lost intelligence during the game.
I guess it makes things considerably easier, but at the same time, it's kind of easy-ish to track.
Beastmaster as well as Dazzle have lost 2.
Yeah.
They're the only 2 that have died so far.
Beastmaster really can't afford to lose intelligence, though. Like, he starts with 16 base,
Yep.
or 18 at this point, and he barely has enough to throw out all of his animals. He can't throw out the zoo and the Axis, man.
Especially if he has a desire to go into a mech man, Meander. Barely. Oh, the cooldown's going to kill him! He did all the work with the Rocket Barrage, and Meander realized with Surge running out, he couldn't get away in time. So the cooldown from the Jaro, able to find himself a kill, and finally GB get themselves on the board.
Yeah, Madara Dota, man. Well played by him. And the Storm Spirit is just going to go for this bottom rune because he knows that the Darkseer is dead. His bottle's coming in. This is a pretty good rune. This is what you're going to call a kill rune. These are the type of runes that you want to be able to gank with if you can, if the opportunity should arise.
Yep.
The only downside, I guess, about this rune is that he doesn't have full mana and he doesn't have a TP, more importantly. But you probably grab like a TP at some point. It's not that big of a deal. He's going for the Soul Ring instead of Treads. He's going to farm.
Okay.
He's meant to just farm jungle.
Unless that's meant to be the Yule Scepter rushed.
Nah.
Soul Ring's just too damn good to bypass for a Storm. Really, like, so many heroes.
Oh, he's actually just going to pop the DD for this. I kind of don't like this, because he had enough time on his DD, and he's got enough bottle charges to be able to do this cleanly. I would have preferred the DD be used just to go for a kill.
Maybe he just doesn't feel the confidence. Oh yeah, if you don't know too, like the pathing bug with the skeletons. I still can't believe this. The skeletons don't lose aggro. They'll chase you to the ends of the earth.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's pretty clowny.
They will just keep following you. There's also some other bugs with pathing, which comes with like Jakiro's Liquid Fire, where if you Liquid Fire a creep wave and it keeps ticking damage, even if you're like Fog of War and far enough away, they still keep following you because they're taking the tick damage.
They're pissed off.
Yeah.
You just burned their land. I think it's pretty fair that they try to hit you with their sticks in mid.
Okay.
Okay, that was easy. There's no way the Storm should have been there without his bottle. Like, he had 200 HP and he just got high ground stunned and then raised once. Like, I'm so surprised after the Ancients, he just didn't go back to base. Like, what was the point of standing there in the lane?
He might have just felt like they have a ward that's watching this. The funnier thing is though, this Radiant ward which is here, it was down before the Dire ward was placed. And Earthshaker made the walk. Like it was very, very obvious when Crit threw the ward down. He walks up, plants the ward, and then walks back. But the supports didn't see it. So they didn't ping out the fact the obs was there. And the high ground stun was just too easy. Meander, we're going to go call down again. He's expecting it. He goes into the trees. He won't be able to survive again. The attack from Jaro will do the work. He actually attacked into the tower with a flat cannon. Coming in very deep. The stun will be there to stop Fly's instant chase after this. As Lina She's managed to find herself a haste rune, so it's okay for her to stay behind.
The warding battle is being completely destroyed right now. Like, the Golden Boys is getting outwarded pretty hard. Like, this high ground ward advantage that they have is pretty significant as your mid laner. Like, the fact that they were able to kill the Storm Spirit, who was mainly focusing on farm, and get it for your Shadow Fiend, especially when the Storm hits level 6, he should be really hard to gank at that point. Like, the Shadow Fiend should have to be in a position where he has to raise twice or if not 3 times to kill him. But you should never just one fissure, raise, dead.
Yep.
Now the SF has such a huge advantage. Like, this is one of the more snowbally matchups in general that you're going to run into almost every single time. Is that the SF, if he gets a kill set up for him whatsoever, just rolls the game. We saw that last game too, right?
Yeah, we did. Until he DC'd. Yep, we did.
Well, things happen. Everybody
Yeah.
knows.
But the principle is still the same, at least.
Exactly.
And Miracle's now, like, he's so far, he's almost 1,200 ahead of the Ember Spirit under 10 minutes into the game. Like, that's the balance shift. And the Ember, sorry, not the Ember Spirit, the Storm Spirit. The Ember Spirit's still finding a crap ton of farm himself. Like, Notel's not really being contested. He's got 1 assist, 1 kill. That's great for him. And he's able to find solo experience, and no one's pressuring him. Like, the Beastmaster is still level 4. Like, we don't have the pressure at all of his Raw coming out. Because then maybe they could do a little bit of a rotation, like a smoke gank with Alina. Get a quick pick off, and then just get the hell out.
It's just because Fly has been able to zone him out so effectively.
Yep.
Silencer's one of the better heroes at being able to do that. The thing you kind of have to worry about a lot of times when you play Silencer as a support is if you have a hero like Earthshaker or Darkseer offlaning, or even Tusk, one support comes in, and it doesn't matter what level they are. They'll kill the Silencer support because he's so squishy. But in this game, when you've got like a Dazzle support and Alina that can't really get set up if you don't have Roar, it's going to be pretty hard to punish this pretty greedy pick. And it's paying off really well. Like, he's almost level 6 already. Like, he's just about to hit it after this wave, potentially.
Shaker just threw down an Observer Ward. It can be seen, though. That range creep can actually kill it if he wants to. But they'll let the Dazzle come up and do it instead. So they can't block the stack from happening. And this Observer Ward, which is on the cliff side for GB, is seeing the rotation of crit. But just because they see it doesn't mean they can do anything about it. Like, Notel's just too big, and having Fly behind him, he's got Global Silence 11 minutes into the game. Like, they know this Tier 1 town belongs to them. If GB fight this, they're just going to lose.
Yeah, if I were Monkey Business right now, I'd just be playing aggressively because you know you have a lot of advantages.
Courier. He's going to... one more hit. The Totem Stomp wasn't enough. So the energy booster will be able to get down to the Storm Spirit. And he's going to stick with the Bloodstone. We're not going to go into that Yules.
Okay, this is a pretty weird way to build it too. Like, this is old school as it gets. Going for the Arcane Boots instead of the Treads. This is like a 0 kill potential Storm. Like, TPing in does nothing for fights anymore. Pretty much what your hero's going to rely on at this point, Toby, is just farm.
Yep. But maybe they just feel like they're just so far behind that this is their only option. But then I start checking out stacks, and I'm not seeing any stacks inside the Radiant jungle. So he can't just flash farm at Notel. Okay, he's really getting on the Beastmaster's nerves. Chasing after him. Now he can go for the Searing Chains. He's waiting out a little bit longer, as now the Dazzle will arrive. The Searing Chain's actually going to catch both of them. And he attacks into the Dazzle, the one hero he knows he can kill off because...
He's going to get both.
Oh my lord. Notel knew he could get away with it, and they actually lose another one. The Lina dies on bottom. Moon Meander attempt the TP out. He dies again to the Gyrocopter. The only 3 kills have come to the Gyro, and every single time it's Moon Meander.
They're going to get a top kill, though, for sure. The Global isn't expended, I think. But at the same time, it's still a fairly decent trade there. Like, getting the Storm some kills. Obviously, you don't want to lose... I mean, every hero that wasn't a core just died there.
Yep.
And at some point, the Beastmaster has to get something out of the laning phase. And I thought he was a pretty good pickup for the mid game, but I didn't anticipate his lane being this impossibly hard for him. If he was 6 maybe 2 minutes ago, or he was in that type of position, maybe. And they've got Ancient stacks, which usually are reserved for him, but it looks like the Gyrocopter instead is going to take it. So Golden Boys is going to be incredibly core heavy this game.
But that also means now the Monkeys, like, their cores are looking very good themselves, and their team fight is still great. The only thing they're kind of missing is having that Earthshaker 1 with Echo Slam and 2 Blink. Like, if they have that, like, even these cores being heavy, the lockdown control you get from the ES, like, you might consider, like, buying a BKB over on this gyrocopter, but he may not get it off in time. It's kind of funny to also watch Miracles build on this SF. I'll say funny is the wrong word, but, like, going for an SMY, he's really ready to fight early on,
Radiant's bottom tower
as
is
opposed to
under
going
attack.
for something more like what we saw in the previous game, where you have that Yule Scepter. It's the straight, like, Yules to blow up.
I think it's a good build though for the stats. You can survive against the storm, and if as weird as it sounds, a lot of storms sometimes will overextend with mana, and you might think you can't chase them down, but you can
They're
kill them
coming.
pretty easily.
Fissure, Global Silence, so we can't ball lightning away. Miracle actually not even using the raise. And this is all happening at the same time as Madara is taking out the entire stack.
Oh, no tail at top.
Wait, like...
Ion Shell plus Flame Guard.
Radiant's
What do you
bottom
do?
tower has
And
fallen.
now... he's just everywhere across the map. Like, he jumps down at the Radiant jungle, the mid lane's being pushed in, there's no tier 1 tower there anymore. The SF is in the middle of a bit of a sandwich. They're going to start with a Raw, but Lina, Laguna Blade, it should be enough damage. Miracle? No, there's one charges. He's going to turn, releases the ulti. It's going to tickle on maybe
he's
next
mad.
time. And, okay, yeah, one raise will finish the job. Again, though, Miracle not wanting to pop that. But it's the Storm Spirit who died previously. They're the Lina to follow it up.
Radiant's bottom
And the
tower
SF who
is
takes
under
both
attack.
Raw and Laguna Blade, yet you still cannot kill him.
That's the strength of this SNY build, like this very, very stat-heavy build. Nearly impossible to kill at this point. He tanks up so much damage. Like, when he switches to Strength Treads, like 1,400, nearly 1,500 HP, and then you've got the wand to work with as well, on top of the 14 armor, there's almost nothing that can kill that in the early game. There just
Yep.
isn't. And, I mean, Monkey Business is just kind of rolling this game right now.
Yeah.
That was the first Beastmaster roar that we just saw, too.
That's what makes it even sadder. That's the first one you get, and you combine it with a lean. Like, that was meant to be your kill combo. And if they found any other hero other than SF, maybe the Ember Spirit would have been a little bit more difficult for them as well, depending on his Flame Guard time.
Yeah.
But, like, anyone else apart from SF, and they would have got it. And now, they get Nagus the Immortal into the hands of the SF. Is he actually... Like, I see the Mithril Hammer to start with, so I'm assuming it will just be a standard BKB. But is this a game where you may think you can get away with, like... I know we don't see it, no one's ever picked it up.
Don't
so
say
you,
Deso.
You can shut me down if you want to. That's what I was thinking.
No, he's only getting it, Toby, because he's got full item slots in an Aegis. So the
Yeah.
BKB isn't necessary at this phase. Like, he doesn't need the Ogre Club like he
Radiant's
normally
bottom
would,
tower is
just
under
because of how far ahead he is.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower
And
is
let's
under
be real
attack.
here, he is incredibly far ahead right now.
Yeah. You know, I will always be a Deso advocate.
Will you?
Yeah, always. It was part of core on my Nature's Prophet build.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Just the
attack.
way, man.
I thought it was mech into trying to type level up 25 and dying to a top lane bot.
That is...
Dire's structures
Kiss my
are
ass.
fortified. Radiant's bottom
Ah,
In
never
one-
forget.
In 1 minute, in 1 minute, you can understand all of that. Stupid ass video. Can't believe I ever made that. Should never have released it as well.
Alright.
Yeah. If you ever want to learn Dota from me, don't. Unless you want to grief your teammates, never learn Dota from me. That's simple.
I mean, Toby, I learned a lot out of that Nature's Prophet video.
just go tug the
I
other
learned
one.
what the command was to level up 20 to 25.
Oh my god, just...
It was useful.
It was 4 years ago!
You know, I told Cap this. I was like,
4 bloody years ago.
it's just as important to learn what you shouldn't do as it is what you should. It's part of the learning process.
That is... true, yeah.
This top... Okay, they just got 2 tier 2 towers
They
with this
can't.
Aegis.
They cancelled the TP.
This is pretty absurd right now.
They
They're just
ca-
going to keep going?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
This is confidence.
They're actually TPing the Darkseer back, and Mumianda cancelled it halfway through. One, because maybe the cooldown was right in his TP's position, but like I think they understood just how much
They
damage.
don't have glyph.
No, they blew it on the tier 2 tower. So just do it.
Okay, that was an absurd amount of they took bottom tier 2 and the mid tier 2, and they got that mid tower to almost high ground position. And by that I mean being able to get this tower to 245 damage. It's not taking it down necessarily, of course, but it allows your next pressure move to be so much more powerful. Like being able to get to the high ground without having that tower in the way
Yep.
means that you can spread out and fan and take a really proper fight without having to be mass call downed.
And the position which Monkeys is in right now, like easily winning a team fight, like that is possible for them. And then with the player advantage, you just push. Like that tower will take a grand total of maybe 5 seconds maximum to get through. And looks like Notel is looking for that pick off. Searing Chains on the Storm Spirit. He's still got a jump available, and he will in fact use it. Should keep our eyes on that Aegis timer. When we hit the 22:30, the Aegis will be gone. So SF right now is just playing like he's got a second life, because he does.
He's got a BKB completed too.
Yeah.
You can't kill that hero.
And he's got a haste rune in his bottle.
They might just decide to go for this right now.
Like, why not? Storm Spirit, hello, that's a long jump up. Crit, just going to start with the Echo Slam. He's got 4-1 charges available. They'll give him another Totem Stomp, but Storm Spirit's already going to find the kill. But Storm Spirit's on the other side of the map and about to TP back. He's up to 9 Bloodstone charges with that kill. But Miracle's already starting. Like, they just want the tower. Force GB back, still no fortification for such a long time. So they take out, first the tower, take out a Boar as well. They're beating into that range racks. It really just looks too easy.
This phase of the game, it kind of is.
And you get a Hand of Midas now, also built for Fly. It's coming down to bot lane. So you're gonna get a higher level up in Global Silence quicker. And they're turning around to fight. They're hoping someone's just gonna push out a little bit too far in the lane. Or then again, that is still a little bit too far if you got the Searing Chains. But a little bit of a missed time there from Notel.
He's getting pretty massive too. He's gone for all of these side utility items. He's gone for the Boots of Travel, the drums, the Aquila, and he hasn't been punished for it whatsoever. He hasn't had to go for that necessary, you know, when you go for the treads and you just immediately go for the Battle Fury because things are going out of hand. His team is affording him the ability to just go for all of these greedy items, and they're going to go for a gank here at top, but you absolutely have to get this one. He's going to see the Beastmaster here in a second, instantly jumps away. You have to just set that up better.
You almost have to cut through the tree line to get the raw. Like, that would probably be the only other way you'd get close enough for it, because he doesn't have any items. Like, this is a Beastmaster with brown boots and a medallion. Like, that's all Skylark has. This isn't items. This isn't a hero.
Fly just did such a good job of zoning him out for Notail.
Yeah.
Notail pretty much had a free lane, and that was just because Fly did such a good job of being able to one-on-one zone him out.
You're about to see Global Silence being committed. This is the way they can bring down Kaiser. As, yep, Spirit jumps in. The fissure hits perfectly. Notail's on the wrong side of that fissure, and Storm will just have to commit suicide. No other choice.
It's better than being perma-stunned up.
True, but now he's down to 6 Bloodstone charges.
I think maybe, actually, there might have been a chance where he survives, because the Ember went on the wrong side of the fissure.
But just need to get a little bit further to the side.
Yeah, and if Crit has the Echo Slam, maybe. But we saw him use it already.
Yep. He used it up against the Storm on the top lane, so Storm will definitely be aware of that.
Like, there was 2 seconds left of the global, and he still had... There was 2 seconds left of the global, and he still had about more than half of his health.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the Ember deals an insane amount of damage or anything like that.
Not yet. Once he's got that Battle Fury, then it's going to start to amplify it a little bit more. And they're actually moving in with Crit. They want to put the Blink Dagger to use, and there you go. Blink into Echo Slam with the follow-ups on the Shallow Grave will keep Storm Spirit alive. They need more control on him, and they just don't have it. But Notel keeping up. Sleight of Fist is available. Cannot get the combo because the Searing Chains was still on cooldown. And he'll TP himself away to safety. Actually, he's going to TP up to top lane to try and stop this push. Leaving a Spirit on bottom lane, so he can rejoin his teammates later on.
They probably just wait for the next Roshan, and then decide to go for the high ground. You can go for the mid push after this. You've got a Blink BKB completed on your SF, almost level 16. The Ember Spirit almost has a Battle Fury. Like, you're just waiting on item timings most of the time, Toby, just to hit like crucial timings. You got a Glimmer Cape on your Darkseer, a Blink Dagger on your Earthshaker. It feels like I'm just reading off items left and right, but it means that there's nothing else that you're waiting for that's inherently going to change the huge fight that's about to happen, whereas Golden Boys need all the time in the world to farm.
Yeah, it's like you're stealing my job. I meant to read out the obvious.
Hey.
Notel. I got a little bit of vision of Dazzle at that point. Storm Spirit's going to jump over, and they go after the Silencer. Just want to do a little bit of D-warding crit with a fidget control. They might be able to get Fly out this one. Storm Spirit, nope. Able to get that last attack in, but Notel comes back to the fight. They vac back in the Dazzle. So it's a one support for one support. Roshan's still a little bit off.
Does this show for you when he's about to spawn?
Roshan? No, it's the bug. That's what I was talking about before. It's
Yeah.
bugged. So yeah, you're seeing 2 minutes, but he's been actually dead for 6, I believe now.
It'll come up at some point.
There you go, 1 minute
Oh, there
51.
we go.
So we have to put it into our minds.
All right, so around the 25-minute mark,
Yeah, just
that's
after
when
you'll
you'll probably see Monkey Business go for the high ground. This is about as strong as a power curve as it gets at this point.
And it won't take him long to kill off Roshan either. Like, you're about to hit... yeah, in fact, you got a level 3 Requiem of Souls now available for monkeys. Like, their team fight is ridiculous. And the level 2 wall is up for Darkseer. The only thing he's missing is 4 points up in Vac. The Echo Slam's coming off cooldown as well, so they've got that to work with. Like, at least Beastmaster has something now. He's got a 4-staff. So Skylark might be able to get himself in range to get a good Roar initiation off.
He has a gem too. The problem right now though is his build is kind of all in. He's got no levels, no farm. It's
But
just fallen behind.
But he's got no option. Like, he has to do this.
I agree. Just kind of making the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah. I don't see the Observer Ward, however. He didn't walk down far enough to see it. So they'll get rid of the Sentry Ward at least and put down their own obs. And they check Roshan, but, well, okay. Gyrocopter was underneath the tier 1 tower by himself.
He had BKB. Earthshaker's the counter BKB hero.
Yep.
They're gonna go down mid and force the buyback. But it's a gyrocopter at this phase of the game. They don't even. This move is so brilliant because you go for the forcing buyback. But if he does that, then you just go for the Roshan, and then in the game 2 minutes later, this is such an awkward position to be in. You might actually just have to give up Rax.
Yep.
Because if you use the buyback here, you won't have it for the Aegis fight that matters.
They're actually trying to creep skip it out. Storm Spirit got in behind the tier 2 tower and started the creep skip. Now the TPs are coming in from the Dire, and it's No-Tail arriving. And the range Rax is already gone. Like, one attack from the SF that finishes the job. The Roar's going to be over on the Ember Spirit. Still no buyback from the Gyro. With 17 seconds left, he's going to do it and TP right towards the front lines. But the BKB is there from the SF. The Requiem might be down. Moomiander on the run out of here. And they've got the buyback as well as the kill on Lena. But the Storm Spirit, a long jump out. Finds himself a Bloodstone charge. And it's looking for a kill. The Silencer is the man, but the Fissure block is there. And Silencer, he'll be able to TP himself out in time. Flies out to safety. So they disengage, only losing the Darkseer, but they force the buyback.
Yeah, now here's the problem is that you've got Guardian Griefs completed on the Darkseer. The Shadow Fiend is still alive and strong. He had to use his BKB for that one, but this Roshan, alright, this is the pretty big pivotal moment for them right now. Because if you don't get this, if you don't get this Roshan, you kind of just lose the game.
Yep.
Then you would give up a high ground Roshan, and this is going to be brutal right now.
All the Darkseer illusions are coming in to help him out. As Madara forced up actually in deeper into Roshan. As No-Tail's in a lot of
No-Tail's
trouble.
dead.
The cooldown's going to connect. The Storm Spirit's the man to find the kill. Is that fresh Orchid that came up for him just before the fight. But they'll buy back and they really just want to win this. Like, it doesn't matter if they have to expend a little bit of gold for it. Gyrocopter's going to run in. He can't deny himself off to Roshan. In fact, Ember Spirit ensures the kill by getting that side of Fist, while Storm Spirit has to suicide himself with the Bloodstone. They're on the chase for more. And they might be able to find it. They're after maybe next time. Spirit forward, side of Fist Searing Chain. Boom. Got it. And then, okay, Miracle. Miracle.
Oh.
Miracle. That looked a lot more complicated than it needed to be.
It was.
As Crit's chasing after this poor little Dazzler. He's got 4 1 charges. And Crit's got all the damage in the world. So Dazzle is down for the count. Now it'll be Monkeys going in for Roshan.
That's just... I kind of like that maneuver by them to go for the Roshan. And they were even able to kill No-Tail on the back of their Storm having that Orchid. But at the same time, the major issue right there and what was unable to happen is just you don't have enough firepower. But it was almost like a forced situation.
Oh, Storm. Long jump. Right inside
is he gonna
Roshan.
get it?
The wall is down. Shadow Fiend picks up the Jaegers. Killed by the Dire, and Storm is down for the count. 40 seconds on the sideline. That was not the dream. That was not the dream.
Again, have to go for it.
Yeah.
Can't give up the Aegis on the SF. You can't kill him twice.
It's I'm not passing judgment, man. I'm not passing judgment. That is just really, really, really rough. Like, they're just in a bad position.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the rune. Oh, it's even a haste rune. Gonna give up his bottle to Moon Meander.
It's such a... Like, just the position that Monkeys is in at the moment. They can do so much. and to screw it up, like,
Dire's middle
is
tower
so
is
difficult
under
for them.
attack.
Because they're just so farmed. Like, items will actually help them win this more than anything else.
That's a fully completed Eye of Scotty.
Yep. With an Aegis Steamroller to boot. The BKBs are being used so much, it's down to 8 seconds.
You also know that the Gyrocopter has no buyback now. And more importantly, the Storm has used his pocket to die too, and he can't have money.
Yep.
They know that he's died 3 times in a pretty short period of time, and he bought that Orchid. So now you're in a position where you're pretty much defending with nothing up.
Yep.
There's no buyback on anybody that needs it. The Beastmaster doesn't have enough farm to go for the split push.
It looks like they're going for the trade, though. Like, that creep wave's already reaching the tier 3 tower, so monkeys. But then again, you're up against an Ember Spirit. Like, he just leaves a Spirit in the lane, side of fist down the wave, and then you've lost all your momentum, and the SF's already arriving. He can do this solo. He actually doesn't need friends, but it's
Radiant's
always good to
middle
have some.
barracks are
They
under
gotta be
attack.
careful too, because if they get
Dire's
chains
top
TP'd,
tower is under attack.
their TP's cancelled through the chains.
Yep.
Like that could just end the game for them right now, and this is gonna be a free Rex, almost 100%.
Well, luckily, Chains is on cooldown right now for GB. And Monkeys isn't pressuring the issue. I thought they might just, like, rotate themselves down a bot lane inside the base.
Dire's top tower
They don't
is
have a
under
TP
attack.
completed yet on No Tail, or his boots travel are still on cooldown.
Okay.
So you just wait it out and go with the creep wave. Like there's no reason not to meet the creep wave there. You're just unnecessarily endangering yourself.
Makes sense. Miracle's having a great old time.
He's done pretty well this game. When it comes to farm, he's unmatched right now in this game.
Yeah. And his net worth is just... Okay, he's almost got 19,000 net worth to the almost 14k of the Gyro. And now you see him actually push to the 19k as they push up.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And what do you do here? Like, you want to bring him back. Your Weave is only... Okay, connected on Moomiander as well as Shadow Fiend. So you remove a little bit of his armor, but he doesn't care. He's got Nagus the Immortal, even if he dies at the moment. Like, you force out these abilities and then you just come back in later.
It's just an awkward position to be in. You don't want to overcommit if you're Golden Boys, but at the same time, without any buybacks available, you can't really get into an ideal fight.
They caught Matarara out. Crit. He really wants to jump. Without the creep wave, he's not as open to doing this. But if you can find an easy pick-off, you'll go for it. The Lina and the Gyro right on top of each other as a Storm. A huge jump out. The Fissure, though, going to make it really difficult. And Crit gets the Echo Slam. He controls the Gyro. The cooldown still does this work, but not enough of it, as Miracle will be bringing down this Gyrocopter. The Shallow Grave can't protect him long enough. The buyback comes from the Beastmaster, because he never even got his roar off during the fight. He's lost all of his friends, and he's about to lose his base. Monkeys is just ravaging it.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Storm comes out again. Who's
He's
he?
going to go for it.
Okay, that wasn't the plan. He came all the way out and the global silence triggered.
Radiant's bottom
It
barracks
doesn't even
are
matter,
under
though.
attack.
Like,
Yeah.
Fly held onto it for so long, but they're still going to lose 2 sets of racks here. They lost the mid one. The bottom one
Radiant's
goes down now,
bottom
too.
barracks has fallen.
The Shadow Fiend, the rich get richer, and
GG.
Yeah, GG. They know.
Yeah.
Like, their Beastmaster, I think, just hit level 9 at 31 minutes into the game. They know that the time for some sort of crazy comeback is gone.
Yeah, that was never going to get any better for him. So, Monkeys come out on top. Quality game for them. We'll get to have ourselves a break as we'll go into our last game of the night. And we do 2-game series here for the group stages of the defense. You can find all the details for the tournament at the-defense.com, or you can go to your wonderful website, joindota.com, to find out all matches across all competitions. And we're streaming out multiple stuff tonight. We already had our MLG stuff early tonight. We have ESL going on right now with Durka over in the other studio. And of course, you can stay here right on our Join Dota Red channel for game number 2.